What I want to do now is I really do think that we've got a treat. Tony Carlisle, who is on the line, one of our first students, what I call a foundation member, our first year student, and I believe he's just ticked over a year. So I will put Tony on the line. So by the way, Tony, you are famous, and this is the only photo that I've actually got of you. So if you've got a much better photo, let me know. Happy to put that on and update that. I just want to share. I think it's a great thing that going forward in 2018, what I want to do is also, share the success stories that we had, because I really do believe that Blueprint so far, we've got over 300 students now. The ones that actually take action, I'd say about 80%, based on all the emails we get, the feedback we get on Facebook, as well as spreadsheets that I get from time to time with people like Tony, Darren, that's on the line as well, Valerie. I see results. So I really do believe Blueprint is probably the only program that, besides transparency that I'm giving people, the only program that is having such a high result of a number of students that go through the program, they take action and then actually succeed, versus so many of the others that are sort of get-rich-quick type programs out there that I don't know whether they teach the right strategies, but they're not going through the right approach, and hence a lot of their students end up either dropping off or finding another program like Blueprint anyway to go through. So just want to say, wow, welcome Tony, and I'm going to put Tony on the line. So Tony, if I just make sure that you've got your mic on, because I've got a number of questions I do want to go through with Tony, and I think this is going to be an eye-opener because it's going to help a lot of people. Before I put Tony on the line, can I just check that everyone is okay and excited to have Tony on the line? If you just type in your feedback, okay and yeses. Trisha, yes, very much so. From Rodney, Bevan, check, yes, okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Tony, I'm going to now put you on the line. Hello, Tony, you there?
Yeah, hi, Jerry. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Tony, can I just check, before I continue on, can I just check that everybody can hear Tony, that he just said hi? Yes, awesome. Tony, yes, they can all hear you. So, Tony, my first question that I have, it's actually awesome that you're constantly updating me about your success story, because I think that, besides allowing me to know that of your success, it really does make me happy when I see success stories. But also, this I really do believe inspires existing students that have been on the same journey, and also brand new students. And we've just had a new, of course, the new class of November, which have just finished off Blueprint as well, and they're now beginning their journey for 2018. So the first question I've got, Tony, is, where are you from, and what do you do for a living? So at least people get to know you.
Sure. Yeah, look, I live in South Australia, so our housing costs are a little bit lower than the other states. So I think that gives us a little bit of an extra edge to do a bit of investing. But I'm a biomedical engineer, so I work in a hospital along with a team, and we make sure all the life support equipment in the hospital is in first class working order. So I'm full-time doing that, and I just do a little bit of this dabbling part-time. So it's just, like you say, about half an hour a night, most nights is the maximum, and some night, occasionally I don't get to watch every night, but I try and watch as often as I can.
Awesome. So how long have you actually been in with I know you've already told me, how long have you actually been in Blueprint, and and what's been your experience so far with Blueprint?
Well, it's almost 18 months since I started Blueprint.
Yeah.
And
I actually, sorry Tony to cut you in, I actually remember meeting you for the very first time at the WOW event back in Palm Cove, and I remember having, we're standing in line at the buffet line. And I think you were either behind me or I was behind you, is one of them. So we're standing next to, waiting to get our lunch. And I remember that, you were clearly, of course, interested, and contemplating, should you be joining Blueprint? Are you right for this? So I do remember the instance that I actually met you, and you made that decision. So
yeah. Almost straight after that event, I was interested in doing the trading, so I signed up with Interactive Brokers to start a paper trading, because I'd never done trading before, so I was very green. I was following the Blueprint course, and so I got started, but I made quite a few mistakes doing the paper trading, but who cares? Hey, it was all learning. But, And then your ongoing guidance through Blueprint got me better and better and better at paper trading. It wasn't until I'd done about 4 months of paper trading that I was feeling confident. And after about 5 months of paper trading, I actually opened an Interactive Brokers account to go live and do some trading. So I just started off with the minimum opening amount to get a live account.
Right. Yeah, and so for those who, I know you've mentioned about having your focus about opening up a paper trading account. Definitely do it. I mean, Tony had paper traded for 4 to 5 months before actually going live, and if it means you having to do paper trading to get that confidence, please do it, because I'm going to share with you, later Tony's spreadsheet of his results. It's the paper trading or that patience to, if you're not comfortable, do that paper trading first, like Tony, and then when you transition it, you're just so much more comfortable in actually doing it. Would that be right, Tony?
Yes, that's quite right.
Well, awesome. And Tony, before Blueprint, what were, because I know I've actually never asked you about this, what type of frustrations did you actually experience in either regards to maybe investing your own before, because I know you're brand new to stocks, or even about your financial future. So any frustrations about that prior to joining Blueprint?
Yeah, well, I had a boat and I sold it, and I had a little bit of money to deposit, and in the bank I was getting 2% per annum.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that much money, but I thought, my God, that's dreadful. And I thought, well, if I wanted to invest in real estate, for example, and buy a unit or a house and rent it out as an investment, I'd have to get a huge purchase, I'd have to get a mortgage, and I'd have all that worry about that. And plus it's for the long term. You can't just sell it and say next week I'm going to sell half the house and blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. So when I saw your relatively short-term opportunities with FreedomTrader, I thought, wow, you can get in, it's reasonably safe, it's self-managed, and I can liquidate it, relatively quickly if I want to liquidate some stocks, if I need a little bit of money to do something. I just like that hands-on, and my aim was to try and get 15% per annum, because I thought that's a pretty impressive return on investment.
Yeah.
And way better than 2%. I was able to do that in. I've just ticked over a year, and I was easily achieved that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Actually, by the way, I will, since you've gone into what you just spoke about in the regards to the actual performance. So I know you just literally sent me this. I think it was a day ago. So it was the most up-to-date version. So on your screen now, everyone, this is actually Tony's spreadsheet he's sent me. So these are his stocks. What I've done, though, is I have highlighted in green. So you can see literally these are his returns, the actual raw return, plus annualized, but then add on top dividends that he may receive on the way as well. So literally he's got I'll just show you, this is number one, literally Eli Lilly, and you can see that they're big companies, and we spoke about it, Valiant, he's held Valiant and sold that in the past, Unilever, so big companies. They're not, the Sydney airports, the Westfields, the flight centers, they're all there. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom, there's been 81 investments so far. So 93, basically 93 days that Tony's holding, so just roughly over 3 months on average per investment. And if I look on the number of, I guess, percentage, the gains, so I look at, say, the raw return, 7.4 ranging to 32, 33, that's a raw return. Annualize that because he's only held it for 71 days, 78 days. Raw return, 169, annualized 156, massive one on Valiant, 25% and 538% in terms of the actual annualized. Exceptional figures, Tony. Seriously, congratulations, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, literally from 1 to 8 to, I think it kept on going all the way. You can see how it's all green, literally all green, until number 44, AutoNation on one of them. But you can see how Tony also, he added on position size, like what we just spoke about, the Foot Locker with Darren, the Valiant, and as well as the Kroger with myself and many others, I'm pretty sure. AutoNation, 3 different position sizes, and literally this overall position that he's bought into AutoNation, it was profitable because you can see how it's on 1st of September, all 3 were sold in one go, one lot, but he accumulated over February, March, April, so once a month, slowly going through, the first position ended up with a raw 5% loss, 9% annualized, which is fine. The second position literally just covered it in a way, and then the third position ended up being a profit. So overall, this whole position of AutoNation became a profit. And I just keep on scrolling down now, and the next one was Mylan, and again, very similar, which, this is the topic, if you all go back, I remember recording a video calling it the ultimate protection. And what that meant was that the ultimate protection ended up being, people talk about position sizing, which is important, position sizing. Then you've got stop losses, which is another tool you can add on. Then, not having too much of a portfolio in the one, either company or one industry. But literally the ultimate is if you choose the right stock, buy at the right price, and you're happy to tack on investments over time. So Mylan being the first one over here, very similar to AutoNation, where there was a small loss, 2%, hardly anything. Then the next one, 3.8, and then on top of that, added in 4 months down a track. So it's all the one. You can see it's how with Tony, it's literally all the one investment over a period of time of 4 months, and all sold on the 17th of October. Literally only about 6 weeks ago. And then the third position ended up being a 27% capital gain, annualized at 146. So it's just extraordinary. So 2 losses so far. I scroll down further, and I see this is TPG, the Australian TPM, the code TPM, or TPG Australia, the telecom, and I can see clearly there's three that are losses, however, and this has been held, and Tony extremely patient, like with myself with Valiant, 347 days. So it's almost a year, and all of them being tacked on over time. 9th of November was a date that just over a month ago that Tony sold them all, and 20% loss, definitely not pretty on the first one. Second one at -15 again, but then the latter ones ended up being covering down here, covering the bulk of the losses over here. So this really, as an overall position, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, wasn't really overall, by the time you sold it, was potentially even a profit. Would that be right, Tony?
Yeah, it was a small profit.
Yeah, it was a small profit. Yeah, so it shows that. See, Tony could have easily been stop lost if it was basically a crappy stock, and through fear that he just sold out through panic. But tacking it on over time and being patient about it ended up being actually a small profit overall. So that was actually counted as 3 of his losses. And if I keep on scrolling down, that's it. There's been no other losses. So literally, although it looks like a loss, the actual position of TPG plus Mylan plus AutoNation ended up, all 3 of them ended up being a profit anyway. So in actual fact, all closed investments of Tony ended up being a profit. Would that be right, Tony?
Correct.
Yeah, so beautiful. And then average return of over, despite the 5 losses. What it is 5? Yeah, 5 losses out of 81 investments. I mean, can I just check who here would be okay doing 81 positions and having 5 losses over this 1 year period of time? Bevan's got you bet. Anybody else? Because it's just extraordinary seeing it. And then looking at the annualized figure at 83%. And people say, why do we annualize it? The reason why we have to annualize it is because we got to be real. Because in the end, right, you have to remember, every single investment that Tony has now sold out, it's now back in the safety of cash, and it's what I call money churn. So some people might go, okay, I'll be a long-term investor, which is fine if you don't have time. But if you've got you put in a little bit of effort, that money now churns over multiple times. So what happens is that money gets invested. 3 months on average, it comes back to you with a profit, added with with your original capital plus the profit. Now that money with the profit goes back into another undervalued opportunity, and then on top of that, if you're able to consistently still get 8 to 9 out of 10 right, that means that profit is now going out to make more profits, and hence why we annualize that. But of course, at the end of the day, we will not get that 83% in terms of the overall portfolio. But being able to annualize that means that this type of money allows us to, put in a perspective of versus, say, a term deposit, which means you got to leave it in all year just to get the 2 or 3%, versus something that you hold, for example, what's this, Qualcomm, 2 months, 30% later, 179% annualized, because that's what it actually is. The opportunity cost, or the opportunity profit that is now in Tony's hands to now reinvest somewhere else. So, and that's why we annualize the figure to say this is versus if he was to hold this or reinvest this capital to something else, this is what type of profit that it actually literally is, and hence why we annualize the figure. So Tony, congratulations. This is seriously on my books outstanding, and just seeing the success that you're having, especially being a brand newbie. So all new newbies out there, take this as as an example of someone who literally was brand new to the market. And I remember speaking to Tony during that lunch break 18 months ago, and I said, as long as you're willing to put in the effort, learn the systems, stick to the systems, the profit is there, and this is what Tony's done. So congrats, Tony, on that. So yeah, so that's actually awesome to see. So Tony, I'll continue back on some of the questions I still want to ask you, if that's okay.
Sure.
And Tony, so the other thing I want to ask you is, what sort of impact and outcome has Blueprint, and especially even in the circle that we're on at the moment, this call, provided towards the financial future that you see now with you and your family?
Well, I mentioned I like the idea of a self-managed investment fund, and that's essentially what I'm doing. And I can make it as big or as small as I like. Yeah. And I can, and I think I mentioned it before, I can liquidate a part of it quickly if I have to. Yeah. So no problem. It's just fabulous. Yeah, yeah. And this is where I remember being on stage. I said, with a house, if you need cash, there is no way you can sell off a bathroom or a bedroom. It just can't be done. And this is where if you have a big portfolio, and at any point in time, if you need cash immediately, one part of the portfolio, which is what you just said, can be sold off for that liquidation, and even potentially down a track, once you have a self-fund, potentially even just liquidate the profits, live on the profits, and your capital still stays intact. And that's the beauty about the stock market. Yeah, so awesome. Actually, one thing I did want to also mention, I know you haven't said that yet, Tony, but another thing that I think a side benefit is Tony. I remember speaking to Tony about, this is now going maybe 3 months ago. I remember Tony saying that literally he's, is it true, Tony? You sleep with a smile on your face now. I do. Yeah, I often come back to bed a little bit later than my wife, a few minutes afterwards, while I have a quick scan of the market. I usually have a big smile on my face, hop into bed. My wife says, "What have you been up to?" "Oh, just looking at my numbers, darling."
That's awesome. Any particular lessons that you've learned throughout this 18-month journey that you've had that just stands out through your journey? Hello, Tony, you there?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Just a question, Tony. Any particular lesson that just stands out that throughout your 18-month that you've been on this journey now, any lessons that you've learned along the way?
I've probably got a couple here. Firstly, I'm surprised how enjoyable it is to manage my stocks. Secondly, I'm shocked at how slow the action is. Sometimes I have to wait for a couple of weeks to buy a stock. I buy a list, but I've got to wait and wait and wait for the technical indicators to actually buy. Yeah. And I got an interesting one here. I found if I miss a short-term sell, don't worry, because it's an investment. Yeah. I have found that even the great Terry has sold out on a downturn, and then I've missed it because I've been a couple of days late, and it's rocketed back up, and I've gone, wow, look at that. Yeah. So because I'm happy to hang on to the stock for a bit longer, I'm not worried if I miss that short-term sell. Yeah. And I'm also quite comfortable now to hold on to 30 or 40 stocks at a time. Because once you have the system in place to manage it, it's not as hard as people think, right, Tony? No. Yeah, because it's a system in place. That's why. Yeah. Yeah, because I think one of them that just sticks with my mind, Tony, is you said that
Terry sold out, which I think this was BlackBerry. Would that be right? Like I sold out of BlackBerry, you missed it, and within days, BlackBerry shot up another 10-15% or something. So your overall game.
In Terry, there's a few more than that, but yeah, BlackBerry is one. BlackBerry is one, and yeah, it skyrocketed after a rebound.
Tony, thank you for reminding me there's been more than that. It's usually what I don't want to hear, but anyway, because I know because with me, right? I don't. Once I sell something, I usually don't look back. But I know it's when I'm talking to our students, it's like, oh, okay, and then I look back at it, it's like, oh, great, I just missed that extra 10. But in the end, right? It's just it's an opportunity that as long as we it's profitable, we just move on. So and that's where there was a topic about regret. Never regret. If you've sold and you've made a profit, you just move on. Don't worry about the regret.
Yeah.
And where do you see you going with your investing and trading, say in 2018 and beyond, based on what you've learned?
Well, I'll certainly want to keep growing my little portfolio a little bit where I can. So self-managing it, I just love it. I'm going to keep doing it. But I reckon I might even set up a little advisor account to invest a little bit of my wife's money.
Yeah. I mean, this is the beauty of IBs, because you can set up another account, and literally when you can mirror. So therefore, so for example, I managed 5 different investment accounts at the one time. So super fund, the family trust, and so on. And whenever I press the one button, literally, because I've set it up as percentages of, because each fund is different in size, the one buy literally will spread based on your percentage. So I could say I want this account to buy 20%, 1/5, this account to buy 40%, this account to buy 10 and 10 and 10. And when you literally put the one order in, say 1,000 shares or whatever, it literally splits that up to your liking. And plus, the beauty of it is your brokerage is also split. So it's not like they charge you 5 different brokerage. It's literally one brokerage but split into 5 different lots. So if you've got literally $1 brokerage, some brokerage might end up costing you 20 cents, for example. So that's the beauty and the fairness of interactive brokers versus, say, a ComSec, which will literally charge you, if it's on international shares, $75 times 5. That's what they'll do. Yeah. So just I just added that in because so those who want to manage more than one account, and if you open up an IB, make sure that you let them know, so it becomes what they call an advisory account. So you can actually manage multiple accounts with the one login, rather than having to log in multiple times. Yeah. The other thing too, Tony, is what's the 1 to 3 big takeaways, actions that you can actually share with this inner circle group that's been vital to your success?
Yeah, look, I think
everyone. Sorry, Tony, to butt in. Please take notes, everyone, because this will be something that you can take on board from what Tony says.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. Look, firstly, I think following Dewey's flowchart is a great help. It's all there. Just follow the flowchart. And so I would say patience and persistence pay. And look, I'm a great believer in the 80-20 rule of life, and I think it applies equally well here to trading and investing. Aim for 100%, but if you get 80%, you're doing fabulous.
Yeah.
And I think your guidance from the inner circle has been invaluable to me, because every time I listen in on one of your sessions, I learn. I learn all sorts of things. So it just slowly builds up, and it just makes me a better and better and sharper every time I do some work, do some trades.
Awesome. No, thank you for that. Yeah, so please make sure you write that down. So just repeat. Tony said patience, persistence, and the 80-20 principle applying to investment as well. So it literally is that. Over the long term, you will find, just even from our own results, we found over the very long term of over 15, 20 years now, it's been literally the success rate is that 8 out of 10, so 80% is the success rate. And if you can get that, you are top of the class, because most fund managers in our country, even on the planet, are getting about 55 to 60% right. So in other words, 5 to 6. So if you're doing 8 out of 10 right, you are beating the fund managers that's out there, the professional fund managers that are doing it every single day. So we've, being also a smaller size as a private trader or private investor, we've got a massive advantage, because we can get in and out of the market very easily versus trying to move, a couple $100 million at a time. So therefore, utilize that advantage and strive for that at least 7 to 8 out of 10, because our systems do actually provide that. So thanks, Tony, for that. So
Gary, I'd like to say just one thing.
Yeah.
When I say following Dewey's flowchart, that's really a summary of everything you have said, and so your technical details, everything. So it's really a summary of everything you've put together in your package. So which is fabulous. So thank you. Yeah, no,
it's actually awesome, because and this is the power of our beautiful group, because everyone's, as you can probably most has seen, everyone's helping each other within the the Facebook community, but then different members, and I know Shas, for example, just posted. I think Shas is on the line. Yeah, Shas is on the line. She just posted that for example, Simple Wall Street is having a sale, and somebody else was posting the sale about stockcharts.com. So things that I don't see all the time, resources slash having Dewey create a flowchart. So everyone's just helping each other. So organically, this group of, which I only started about, I think it was 6 months ago, it's just organically grown, but everyone's just pitching in and helping each other. So that's awesome to see, because everyone's succeeding together. So yeah, something I love seeing. So final question, Tony, would you recommend, not that everyone here is actually already Blueprint, but would you recommend others join Blueprint and continuing their inner circle journey?
Well, the answer is pretty obvious, yes. A resounding yes on both of those. The Blueprint was fabulous because you were very generous. You extended our coaching a little bit. And then when the opportunity came up to join Inner Circle, I wasn't too sure, but I had some early gains, as you saw. I sold Eli Lilly and Valiant and a few others. Those gains covered the cost of the Inner Circle membership. So, once I joined Inner Circle, I was off and running.
Yeah. No, thank you, Tony. So that's pretty much all I have, Tony. But yeah, thank you. It's an awesome result that I'm seeing. So first, again, congratulations, and thank you for sharing with our group, because I think it really does inspire everybody from basically veteran. I know there's a number of people who started off at your time during 18 months ago as well, Tony. So because I'm seeing the list of names. So they were literally same classes. I'm seeing successes from even brand new students as well. So it's just a great inspiration to all. And this is to everyone now. Obviously, we've just interviewed Tony. Is there anything in particular? I just want to get your thoughts about, I guess, our interview that's inspiring. I'd like to know. So if you can just put in a, I don't know, an I in front of it, inspiration. Because I know there's a lot of thank yous coming through, Tony, to you.
Oh, thank you to everyone.
Yeah, there's a lot of thank yous, and also congratulations. So Maggie just said congrats and thanks, Tony, super inspirational. Greg's got congratulations, Tony, thanks. Frank's got thank you, Tony, great to hear from you. Trish's got, Trish, you're another one that I really look forward to interviewing as well. Awesome result, Tony. PK's got very inspirational and congrats, Tony. So impressive, well done. So a lot of congratulations coming through, Tony, just to let you know on my end that I'm seeing.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, so awesome.